What is going on? What is going on? It's your girl, Melba Pearson, Melba from Miami, Melba for Justice, also known as the resident legal diva. And it is time for another Mondays with Melba. Hope everyone is doing well. And of course, biggest thing in my life is to make sure folks know what they're doing when it's time to go vote. Right? I'm always going to sing the song of voting. So today I'm super excited because I have a candidate for school board and his name is Gustavo Ortega. Gustavo, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. As she said, my name's Gustavo Ortega. I am a special education teacher and a candidate for Miami-Dade School Board District 3. That entails from Aventura all the way down to Coconut Grove, pretty much east of Biscayne Boulevard. And there's some gerrymandering in and out, as you know, you know how that works. And just a little bit about myself. I was born in Mexico. I came here when I was 9 years old, and that's when I truly started my educational career. Back in Mexico, teachers came when they wanted to, so they only came once, maybe 3 times a week, if that.
Oh
Yes,
my gosh.
I lived in a tiny, tiny little ranch, so and just a small village, and so people, the teachers came when they wanted to. So truly, my educational career came when I came here when I was 9 years old, and obviously Monday through Friday I started going to school. I graduated my high school, went on to get my BA, and then my master's in special education, and I've been teaching for the last 15 years, all with special needs. I love it. It is the
Wow.
best job anyone can have. I truly love it. It is so much fun educating our little ones. I currently teach kindergarten and first grade children with autism.
And where do you teach?
I teach at Biscayne Beach Elementary. It's on
Okay.
North Beach.
Awesome. Awesome. So what's making you want to run for school board like now at this point? What inspired you to make this leap?
Well, there is a slew of issues that are affecting us in the classroom right now. From the banning of books to the alteration of history that is being taught, and teachers are feeling it. There's a lot of teachers that I feel like are starting to walk on eggshells, and we cannot do that. If we want to educate our young the best that we can, we personally need to feel well as well. So I want to run not only for the students, but to the teachers to say, someone's got your back. When Ron DeSantis tries to take you down, I'm going to get in front of that and try to stop him, because you see it. And, I've seen great teachers leave the educational field, and I can't, we cannot do that. I can't, I think about that, and I think about how many beautiful children are going to be affected by this teacher leaving, whether it's a science teacher, social studies teacher, a math teacher, an ELA teacher. Those are some of the issues. And I know, one of the other big thing is within the teachers, is the pay. There is
Mhm.
so many teachers that are leaving because of that. I
It's
mean,
disgusting. It's
and
disgusting.
15 years in, me, and I'm barely making $50,000. It's so
No.
it's
No.
and the teachers that are left, they love it, and we love teaching, but we also want to make a livable wage. So that's one of the issues. I also want to implement universal pre-K starting at 3 years old for
Mm.
all 3 year olds, and this is because of the research that is backed by it. Children that are start at 3 years old are more likely to graduate high school, less likely to be incarcerated, more likely to go on to college and be a successful citizen within our communities. So these are some of the issues that I want to tackle. And of course, there's an attack on our LGBTQ plus community. I mean, there's just arrows coming at public education from all over the place. And I hope to, replace Ms. Bias Geller, who was also a teacher, and she's moving on to something else.
Mhm.
But I believe that the school board needs a teacher with experience on the board.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have said it better because I think about how many amazing teachers can't afford to live in Miami-Dade County anymore. I mean,
No,
if you're talking $50,000 a year and rents are like $4,000 a month, or maybe you own a little house, but your insurance just doubled,
yeah,
right? The math is not mathing.
and
So,
and that's what's happening. One of our teachers left to be a real estate agent. It's like, come on, and that was a good teacher, and it drives me personally crazy to think that our children are going to suffer because of that. And now we have substitutes going in and out, in and out. And even in Miami-Dade right now, from last time I checked, there was around 200 positions available, head teachers. So that's thousands of our beautiful little children not getting the education that they deserve. And that personally infuriates me. Because when I was little, I didn't get the great education not till I came here, and then you realize how special education is. You have your families, you have your friends, but education is right there. It opens doors for you, and we need to make sure that we're educating our children properly. So, is there, you know,
no, that's huge. And I mean, I'm still thinking about what you just said around, universal pre-K, and the kids who start school early at that age are on track to success. So that to me sounds like the perfect way to disrupt the school to prison pipeline, right?
it,
Making sure that kids have opportunities. And listen, not every kid is going to go to college. That's fine. If you have the opportunity to go to a Votech. So listen, plumbers are killing it. They're making plenty of money. I have yet to meet a broke plumber, okay, or a broke electrician, unless you're really bad at your job.
yeah,
So, it's just exposing kids to different pathways to be able to stay out of the criminal justice system, be able
yes.
to learn, live a healthy, happy life, take care of their families, and, just have the American dream that we all want.
And the studies show this: for every dollar that we spend on pre-K starting at 3, in return, society gets $5 back minimum that's a bad pre-K, to $15 to $18 on a good pre-K. So think about that return. You go to the stock market, you're happy with a 10% return. We're talking
Mhm.
for every dollar, minimum $5 back on it. I mean, that is like, I believe is truly life changing for our children. If we can implement something like that here in Miami-Dade, it would be beneficial to them so much. And that's one of the big issues. Someone asked me, if there's one thing that you can accomplish, I said universal pre-K starting at 3. If we can do that, yes, the results are not going to be right away, but
Of course.
you know, 4 or 5 years, when they get to fourth grade, fifth grade, you're going to see scores from reading to math to writing go up. So, so
No.
I think it's a critical thing that we have to implement here in Miami-Dade.
Okay, so in terms of, let's say you're successful, you sit down on the dais at the school board. You're saying universal pre-K is one of the main things you'll be pushing for. Teacher pay is another thing that you'll be
Yes.
pushing for, but that's more on the legislative level of like fighting with the governor. But what else? What are some other things you're going to try and implement locally with the assistance of the other school board members?
Well, mental health, that's another big thing. I've been knocking on doors, and some of the people have spoke to me about bullying and how it affects the children. One lady said to me, you know, my daughter got bullied in elementary school. She's in college today. We're still dealing with it. So we need to have not all board members, I believe, can agree to this, to help our children's mental health, to make sure that there are, systems in place when something like this happens, whether it's, verbal bullying, physically, or, online bullying, especially nowadays. All these things, we have to get a, good strategy so that children can go to a place and either discuss it with a counselor or whoever it may be at the time. But those kinds of things, I believe that we can accomplish together. But I also think that school board members will agree to the universal pre-K because it is so critical.
Right. And it's backed from what you're saying. It's backed by science. It's backed by research. Like really smart people got together and watched a bunch of kids from, age, whatever, 3 until 30. And
Yeah,
this findings they came back with.
and it's making such a huge impact, and in the community too. You know,
Mhm.
they're just much more successful. But the mental health, I believe we can accomplish that. As a board, fairly easy. And these other issues, yes, it's going to need the state legislator, and we got to get on board. Talk to our representatives, be like, guys, look at this. You guys want an investment. You talk about money, especially the GOP. The economics of it.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
start
mhm.
talking to them about that kind of framework. The economics of this will be so beneficial to the state of Florida. Be astronomical. So those are the things that you do have to speak to when you do, since it is Republican majority up there. Economics is much more their lingo.
Yeah, that is very true. But, one thing that really concerned me was, the changes in terms of expanding the amount of time that kids can work
Oh
and
yes.
how that's going to impact their performance. I mean, this is a critical time for these kids when they're teens and tweens, where again they can be making the decision of go to college, or maybe if that's not your path, go to a VOTEC. But how are you going to do that if you're too busy flipping burgers
I
and or working at a factory? Like
I
how?
have I don't understand how they even passed this or why they even thought that this was a good idea. I mean, come on. What about the homework? When do you expect children to do? And there's a lot of unfortunate children that, the parents may not be well off, that may have to go to work.
Of course, yeah.
Now they might have to go to work instead of getting their educational, foundations and making sure, like you said, getting prepared to go to college and
Mhm.
making a better life for themselves. Now they may have to work extra hours, and I'm just sometimes I'm just shocked at what's coming out of Tallahassee.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad, and and it affects our beautiful children, which is the worst possible thing that could happen. You want to affect them in a positive way. This is not a positive way.
Exactly, exactly. And so what lessons did you learn as as an educator from your background and all of that, that you think is going to make you the best candidate for the school board?
I
Why
believe,
you?
well, well, for one, I'm a teacher. I understand what is needed in the classroom. I'll give you a perfect example right now. We have iReady. It's a reading system within the school system. Before last year, we used to be able to have a little icon on the bottom of it. You click on it, it took you right to iReady. You do reading or math. Boom, you're there in like 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Now we have to go through about 7 or 8 steps to get to the point where we used to just with one click. My special needs children, they take time to do that. So instead of taking 1 or 2 seconds, now it takes them about a minute. And think about that. 1 minute every day, those little, even though it might be a minute a day, but it adds up to their, so that's something that I see as a teacher that we should be able to change within the board right away to help our children, get to their educational learning, whether it's math or reading, much faster, save millions of minutes. I
Mhm.
think that's a huge progress right there. So that's something that I believe that makes me much more different than any other candidate, because there's no other candidate that's a teacher that's running. We have lawyers. I think we got a Moms for Liberty that's running, and yeah, and there's a couple of other people that, I mean, I haven't heard much of them, but that's who's running right now. And you know, being in the classroom, you understand what you see your coworkers, what they're going through, and having someone up there, they can look up and say, "He knows what I'm talking about."
Right.
That's huge. That is huge, And right now, we can't say that. Ms. Baez Geller was the one teacher that we could say, "Oh, she understands what we're feeling," but she's she's leaving. So now we just have school board members that are older, haven't taught in many 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 years. So these are some of the qualities that I believe that why I'm the best candidate for this seat.
Awesome. Well, as we wrap up, please share with the audience how they can learn more about you and also when the primary is, because since there's multiple candidates, there's going to be
Yeah.
a primary, and there's candidates that are running as Democrats and as Republicans, which means there's going to be a closed primary. So can you
Well,
let everybody know
well
when the
this
primary
is
is?
a nonpartisan. So
Oh, thank you for
so
reminding me.
yeah. So anyone can vote, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, whatever party you might be, a socialist, whatever it is, anyone can vote for us. And it's on August 20th. The top two go-getters run off in November unless you get 51% of the vote. If you get 51%, you win. So that's how, that's for all the voters out there. Please get out there and vote. Anyone can vote. And as far as my contact and information, my number is 480-550-1817. That's one way to reach me. You can also go to my website, gustavoforschoolboard.com, or my email, Ortega for Florida @gmail.com. Any of those, three ways, you can always contact me that way.
Awesome. And for everybody who's watching, his website will be put in the comments just for ease of being able to just click and learn more. I definitely encourage everyone to keep an eye on what's going on in this race, learn more about him. And, listen, at the end of the day, we're seeing all these crazy things coming down from Tallahassee. The school board is our first line of defense because
Yeah.
the teachers can only do what they can do in the classroom. If it slips through, unfortunately, we do not have a majority in Tallahassee. We do not have a lot of teachers who serve as legislators who can weigh in and be like, this doesn't make any sense, or this is not going to give the impact you think it does. But it's our school board that these are the races we need to care about more and not just be like, oh, the president. No,
Yeah.
the president.
Yes. Local
This
elections matter. Local elections matter. In addition, let me add this. There's 5 seats up for grab in Miami-Dade. That's the majority. So people, get out and vote. If you want things to change the right way, get out and vote. 5 seats are up. That's the majority. If we go the right way, how it should be, there'll be a lot of people, making sure that we teach the correct history of African Americans. Just to give you a little example of what we can do when we
that
have the majority.
That would be amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so with that, Gustavo, thank you so much for joining me on Mondays with Melba. And y'all, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and share, and make sure that you are engaged and you get a plan to be vote ready. Take care, y'all. Bye.